What's up, guys? So this is a review video of Milwaukee Regionals for the 2025-2026 season. I am wanting to make a review video for each regional or large tournament that I go to this season, just to kind of keep me cognizant of the metagame that's changed, be on top of any mistakes or changes I want to make moving forward. And also, guys, give you an insight into how I think and how I approach the season. I think it's just a productive little conversation, little video to make. So, without further ado, this is how Milwaukee went for me. Well, let's just start with a weekend summary, though. I have the good, which is the people, the games, and the food. Everyone that I met this weekend, everyone that I saw, even the people I played against were just awesome. I think this community is starting to get so good, and I really love just going out and seeing people at all these big tournaments. So shout out the people that I talked to. The games were nail biting. They were deep thinking. I loved playing the game, honestly. It was just so fun to play the game and be challenged in each round. The players I encountered, were very good. I definitely got outplayed in many instances, so definitely kept me on my toes, and it was really exhilarating and fun to play. And of course, the food. There's this place in Milwaukee called, I think it's the Third Street Market Hall. It's really close to the convention center, and the food there is just bomb. And I also had a pizza from the bar in our hotel, which is a random Hampton Inn in West Milwaukee, and the pizza there was really good. So the food was awesome. Shout out the food in Milwaukee. I don't know what they're putting in it, but it was great. And of course, we got to cover the bad. So my matchups weren't too good. I'll go over them in a sec. Of course, with the bad matchups comes a bad record. I wasn't too happy with how I finished. And my allergies. My allergies, for some reason, decided to come out. I don't know if there's a cold weather or what, but I was not feeling too great on Sunday, so call out my allergies. Stop bothering me. But let's go over the matchups I had and how I did. So I played Charizard Pidgeot. I did not play a Dusknoir line. Um, I'll go over the list that I played right after this, but let's just cover my matchups. So round one, I hit Mega Lucario. Win loss win. Honestly, kind of close. It's kind of a scary matchup. Anything that can one shot your Charizards is kind of spooky. Luckily, in that third game, they missed a knockout on a Charizard, so I was able to get too far ahead in prizes and wrap up the win on that round. And then round two, we hit Grim. Grim, I'm pretty teched against Grim, so it wasn't too hard. I think I started pretty dead round or game two, and I still was able to win. I put a little note there. It says like, don't attack if you're not taking a KO or two-shotting Grim. I think at that time I was able to attack with a hoe for 50 on a Frostlass, and I was like, wait, that just enables them to monkey later and do some easier math. So I just after that round I was like, okay, let's correct that mistake and let's just write a note, say, hey, if you play against Grimmsnarl again in this tournament, make sure not to just put random damage on the board when you're not really taking a knockout. Um, Round three, I hit a Polt Noir. I don't know how I was able to 2-0 it. It was very close games both times. I think my opponent just kind of missed some cards, and my board worked out in a way that allowed me to find a way to win. I don't play Psyduck, so it was pretty spooky. And I wrote some notes here too, like watch out for Jamming Tower and Mist turns off Luminous. Um, yeah, I put a mist on my monkey, and then my monkey had luminous on it, so it just turned off the luminous, and I couldn't use it. And I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like shaking my head. I was like, what am I doing?" But in that matchup, I don't know. It felt a little bit easier than I originally thought going into the tournament. I was able to just strand big EXs they couldn't deal with, and continuously taking knockouts with Charizard. So that's how I won those two games. And then my luck kind of ran out. Round four, I hit Pidgeot EV Box at Emma Hagen kind of list, and it's been really good. She's been doing very well with it. I took a swift 0-2 to that. I don't play Shaman, and they just destroyed me. And I said I prized two Charmander game two, and I said hard matchup. This doesn't seem very doable. And then round five, uh, again, another Terra Box. I think Terra Box on its own is just really bad because they play a little bit more Grass Tackers. I think Leafeon's a little more clunky. You have more time to respond to it than like a random Iron Leaves that just hits the board and one shots a Charmander or one shots a Charizard. And they also handed me a Swift 0-2. So that was at this point I'm 3-2. I'm a little discouraged. I'm like, man, these matchups have not been good. I mean, hitting Paltnor, EV Box, Terra Box back to back to back. It's pretty brutal. Not great variance at all. Not hitting the matchups I was hoping to hit. But luckily I hit a Guardy. I'm pretty confident in a Guardy. Um, but the only issue with that matchup is it takes a long time. Game one, I think we finished almost with 20 minutes left on the clock, which is super long game one. And because of that, I was able to win from just like time. Like we didn't finish at game two. Um, so yeah, it just kind of I don't know. You definitely have to win that first Guardy game or you're in big trouble. Then I played against a Django, which was definitely not a great matchup. But and game one, I ended up going first, which is even worse because they got the Joltik out. Uh, but I was able to Iono them into a dead hand, and they couldn't respond from that, which was great. And I was able to capture the win on that first game, which was huge. That's huge because I knew that they're going to go second again, and it would be another pretty hard task to win another game. So I ended up losing that second game, and then game three, they dead drew. I mean, I think they had like a 15 card hand, and none of it was playable. And I was just like drawing normally, and I set up a Zard and a Pidgeot, and they're just like I can't win. So unfortunate luck for them, unfortunate luck for me, but I was able to turn around a 3-2 start to a 5-2. And I took the ID. I figured low chance that I'm going 6-0 from here. I'd rather ID to guarantee uh, a deeper placement than a 5-3, you know. Um, and I think that was still correct. I started out decently in phase two, but a lot of people are telling me ID is not great. I think it was fine. Um, Going 501 versus going 6-0 is uh, pretty negligible. I think if you started 5-0, uh, you would either know to tie or know to win one more, and the chances of even going 5-0 and in phase two from 5-2-1 are pretty low. I think if you want to top eight the event, you got to have a better day one showing for sure. Uh, but what's really weird is this is the first regional I play this season, and they play round one of phase two on day one. So round nine was late in the day, and it was really weird. And that's actually it feels like a very important round to win because most of the time people are just really tired and exhausted. And if you're still kind of locked in, you might be able to squeak out a win against what should be a bad matchup or a good player, right? So I played against Raging Bolt. I don't know if Raging Bolt is the best matchup, but my opponent was totally checked out. He was just happy to be in phase two, and I swiftly beat him 2-0. He did dead draw twice, but he definitely was not focused on playing. And I was telling him like, dude, you know, like, because I sat down, he's like, oh, I think you got this one. He knew me. He's like, I think you got this one. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? The tournament's still going. You're in day two. I'm in day two. Come on, man. Try to get a win against me, you know? Come on, lock in, lock in. But he did draw pretty bad, and I was able to capitalize on that. So moving on to the second day, but the second round of phase two, played against the Charizard. I got two wins pretty quickly. They just had slow starts. They just had really awkward, slow starts. I couldn't really mount uh, as much of a board against me as I could against them, and I was able to just take a easy two wins. And then round 11, I played against a Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl players in day two are different. They're very good. All the people I played against in day two were very good at the game. Definitely nail biting games for sure. Well played from everyone. Uh, and that second game, I thought I was okay. I had a little bit of an awkward start, but they were able to just spread enough damage to take multiple knockouts and get around the miss synergy. And you know when game two finished, and that's also a long matchup. We had about 8 minutes left for game three, and I said, "Hey, let's just gentlemen, let's do prizes," which I think prizes is pretty fair because Grimmsnarl can take prizes about as fast as Charizard can take prizes. And he agreed to it, and he drew really bad, and I got really set up fast, and I was just taking knockouts. I think I was at 3 or 4 prizes taken by the time time was called, and he was just like, "Dude, yeah, you're gonna win this one anyway." So he honored the gentleman's. He scooped to me, very very nice and very commendable to do that. I would have done the same, of course. Just honor the gentleman. If you grew to a gentleman's, you should honor the gentleman's. Even if you proposed it and it doesn't work out in your favor, you should just honor it because we need a better culture in that sense. And I know it's kind of a symptom of how the time rules work, but like, why don't you just have good sportsmanship and lift up a positive culture that's good sportsmanship? So if you're gonna offer a gentleman's, you have to be willing to accept that and scoop to your opponent, right? And I was totally willing to do that. Round 12, though, my luck kind of ran out. I started 3-0 in phase two, and then I ended up going 3-3 in phase two because I hit a Paltnor and then a Guardy that was very good. You know, I'm not underestimating them. They cooked me. And then another Paltnor. Paltnor, I said I don't think this is a good matchup, and round 12 definitely taught me that. They just use their Dustin Wars really well. I don't play Psyduck. And then Guardy was able to monkey confusion me at great times, and just I think honestly against game one against Guardy, I just was not getting my Charizard, Pidgeot, Boss Guardy strategy set up very well. Um, and when that happens, Guardy can definitely disrupt you enough to where they can mount a win against you. And that's pretty much what happened game one. And game one took like 35 minutes, so definitely did not finish game two in time, so they got the win for that. And then round 14, kudos to my opponent. He was definitely locked in. I was starting to lose a little bit of my focus, and game one he was drawing terrible, and he did a very smart, good player thing of not putting down DPs and not putting down. He did put down a Duskull, but Duskull has played in a couple things, but not putting down any sort of identifying Pokemon. So I was kind of left guessing what deck he was actually playing because he scooped game one so quickly before he started playing cards because he's like, I'm just not going to win this and I'm not going to give you information. And that's what he said to me. He's like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm playing. And I'm like, that's smart. You should do that. You should not ever give away information if you know you're going to lose the game, right? So, and sometimes on the flip side, if you know your opponent's going to lose, or if you know you're going to scoop early, try to look at your opponent's discard, look at your opponent's field, kind of get an idea of what techs they're playing. Maybe they discarded like an enhanced hammer, right? If you're playing Poltnor and they discarded an enhanced hammer early, you can be like, okay, they have an enhanced hammer, so next game I'll play around that, right? So just kind of give yourself data on their deck, and that's exactly what he did. He actually restricted information for me by scooping early and just not playing any cards down, right? Very smart play, and that actually did help him in game two, where I mistakenly started the wrong Pokemon and discarded energy that I needed to use TM Evo with, and I just got Badooed and I could not do anything before he blew up my board, right? And then game two and three, he put down Jamming Tower turn one, which really screws me over. It's really bad for me. I'm trying to Evo and I can't. It just doesn't do anything. And that really slows me down. Couple that with a Badoo lock, and it's really spooky. And I don't know if Psyduck really helps that matchup, to be honest. I think if that happens, you're going to lose anyway. There's just too much momentum. But yeah, so I ended up 8-5-1. I got 211th place. My goal this season is to not do that. I really need to make my day two finishes better. They've been pretty mediocre for a while. I've The good news is that I'm like an 80% day two rate on the big tournaments now. I'm really starting to get the ball rolling in day two, a lot of events, which is great because consistency in this game is something that's very hard to achieve, at least with, like when in respect to like your finishes. So achieving any sort of consistency like that is really impressive. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it is really like something that's hard to do that consistently. But it doesn't really matter if your finishes are so mediocre, they're not going to get you anywhere close to Worlds and getting an invite. So um, that's why I'm kind of doing these summaries. And like I said, I want to be cognizant of everything and information and things like that and the changes and all that stuff so that I'm hopefully more focused this season and actually getting down to what my weaknesses are, where my strengths are, and bolstering my strengths and fixing my weaknesses, right? So my goal this season is to improve my day two finishes. Whatever that might seem like, maybe it's just consistent top 64s, which is enough to get you into Worlds, or if it's maybe a top 16 and then a couple top 128s, right? That's my goal. But anyway, big rant, big summary of Milwaukee. Let's get to the nitty gritty, the stuff that you guys are probably here for. The list. So here's the list I played at Milwaukee. Um, some weird stuff going on. No Dustin War. I think Dustin War is pretty popular. I played a Monkey and a Luminous Energy. That was for the Grimmsnarl. That was for Dragapult. I didn't think Dragapult matchup it really mattered in. And the problem with Monkey is that it's just a little clunky. It's just hard to get the Monkey down and then also get the Luminous on it in a timely fashion. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and as it was in testing. Another weird card was Ho-Oh. Now, Ho-Oh, I didn't really use, but it hits pretty hard. It does 200. It's a single prizer, but it's so good. It's like it like auto wins you Crustle, and it's so good against Cornerstone, which is very very prominent in Milwaukee. Um, and Ho-Oh, it was definitely. I was praying that I hit Crustle because I won to Ho-Oh them because Crustle is actually not a bad matchup. It's actually a pretty good matchup when you play Ho-Oh. So Ho-Oh it was actually pretty good. I didn't really use it, but like it gave me a lot of insurance against those wall matchups. And then I had three Iono, three Boss, three Arvin, and three Lilies. Three Iono was very good. Three Boss was very good. Three Arvin was okay. And three Lilies was okay. I think Lilies a little too strong to play three. I think you need to play four. I also played a Hilda and a Turo. Hilda was not as good as I thought it was. I think I just preferred to play Lily most of the time than play Hilda. But Hilda was there, insurance for Jelly Guardy in case you're item locked and you can't really Ultra Ball for like a Pidgeot, and you don't really have access to another Evo and Energy. Hilda is there. You maybe get off of Tatsugiri. You get your Pidgeot, you get your Charizard, and you get a Mist Energy. Um, and in testing, that worked a good amount, and it was pretty good card. You play Hilda, and you're set up if you have a Pidgeotto in play. And that was kind of idea, but it never really panned out that way. Turo was good. Turo was good against Grim. It was also good to just reset some stuff on board, and if I start something that's heavy, I can just throw it back to my hand. It's primarily there for control. I figured control would be a little bit more pronounced than it actually was, but Turo was okay. Three Ultra Ball, yeah, four Ultra Ball is probably the way to go. I didn't really miss the fourth Ultra Ball, but it just doesn't look or feel right. But I didn't really notice them missing. Energy Search is there for the Arvin. I tested a lot of hands without an Energy Search, and I just kept missing Evolution. Tool Scrapper actually won me games against Goldango, Joltik, because I was able to Tool Scrapper away the Bravery Charm on their Iron Hands after they took two prizes and knock out their Iron Hands and keep up with the prize trade. That's how I won game one. If I hadn't played Tool Scrapper, I wouldn't have made day two. So Tool Scrapper, actually pretty good. I didn't play it against the Absol deck, but it's also very good against the Absol deck. Night Stretcher, I like Night Stretcher. I think it's fine. It's nice to not have to like Super Rod and then find a way to get Charizard back out. You just put the Charizard back in your hand, especially if you only have like two fire in your discard and you have at least two in your deck. You can just go another Charizard again. One counter catcher, I play four Gus. I don't play Ghosts, so I felt like counter catcher wasn't as strong without Ghosts, and I was actually super right about that. One counter catcher felt perfect. I usually wasn't behind in prizes either, so three boss is really nice when you're really pressuring your opponent early and um take the prize lead and you can't really counter catcher. So having three boss is really good. And also, I really tech this for like a Jelly Guardy meta. Wasn't as much Jelly Guardy as I expected. Or I didn't hit them as much. Um, but three boss and two and one counter is more of a if you're item locked, it's better, right? Nest ball, one nest ball was actually really good. I really liked one nest ball. Air balloon was actually kind of underwhelming. I didn't don't know if I really need it. Don't know if I really like it. Two Mist was did exactly what it was supposed to, where it just destroyed Grim. It gave you so much time against Grim. It was a pretty easy matchup. Um, and I really like Mist. I think Mist is still good right now. And then yeah, Luminous was actually decent. It was nice to have a six energy to put on my Charizard, and then also have something to put on Monkey instead of just having a basic Dark. One thing I really missed though was a 60 HP Pidgey. Uh, that against Dragapult Dusknoir made it way harder because they were able to clear Pidgeys way easier. So having a 60 HP Pidgey is definitely important. But let's so that's what I played. That's kind of my take on this list. Let's go to the list I'm gonna start playing post Milwaukee. With every tournament I play, and I'm like, dang it, my list didn't pan out as well as I thought. I'm gonna go home and make a better list. Uh, I need to not do that. That's what I'm trying to work on. But let's take a look at my new Charizard list moving forward that I think is better for this meta. So now we have the Pidgey split. I think that's standard. That should be standard. It gives you much better chance against Dragapult. Really, really, it does. And then I cut the Monkey, like I said, it was kind of clunky. Put the Shaman in case I hit Terrabox. Put the Psyduck in case I hit Charizard or Dragapult. I'm not super worried about Klefki, like shutting off Psyduck. I think it's still enough of a nuisance to where it's worth playing, right? Now I have four Lily. I cut the Hilda for a Lily. I cut the Turo. I don't think I need Turo. I went down to two Arbin. I think two Arbin's actually a perfect number. Went back up to four Ultra Ball. Um, I still kept Tool Scrapper in. Like I said, I think Tool Scrapper is still pretty good against the Absol box. Um, and now I play a Town Store. That's to help for the TM Evo when you play Lily. I also kept three Iono. I think three Iono is very good. And then now I play two Jet Energy as opposed to one Luminous and two Mist. I play two Jet Energy, one Mist. Jet Energy's actually been super good. Jet Energy would have won me a couple games this weekend for sure. And I totally overlooked that. I had a couple buddies that were like, no, Jet Energy's really good. And I was like, well, I'm not playing Klefki. I know I play Tatsugiri, but I'm not playing Klefki. Like, I don't know if I need it. Yeah, that was just kind of a bad way of thinking. I should have tested it for sure. I think I would have found that it's actually pretty good. So Gen Energy is in, and I've been really liking this list. I've been playing this list a little bit for the last couple of days. I think today's Wednesday. Milwaukee was Saturday, Sunday this weekend. I've played like 10 games with this list, and I haven't lost a single game. So it's been working pretty well for me. I think it's really consistent. But the question is, what about Dusknoir, right? So here is Jackson Ford's Milwaukee Regional winning list. Um, he does play the 2-1-1 Dusknoir. He does play the Cleffa. He does play the Shaman. He does play the Pidgey Split, which I agree with. I think that's really good. The 90 health Pidgeotto is also a big deal. Um, Jackson knows Charizard way better than me. What I want to try out is no ghosts, and I have no clue if that is better or if that is worse. I would think it's probably worse in some ways that I'm not understanding. So what I want to do is actually test Jackson's list and test my own list and see what do I like better, what I think is better. I think Dusknoir, my issue with three different stage two lines is consistency. I want to be able to draw better hands and things like that. You have less text. You do have a Briar, which I think is pretty strong, but you have less text. You're not. I just don't know. I haven't played this list that much, but I'm just a little questionable about like the Grimmsnarl matchup, and the Absol box matchup might be kind of hard because you don't play Tool Scrapper, things like that. Chi though makes more sense in here because you can blow up the Dusknoir and then you can Chi the Crustals, you can Chi the um, Cornerstones, things like that. Klefki, I guess kind of is a pseudo Cool Trapper because you can like joust off their Bravery Charms, which is kind of cool and annoying for them. Um, but honestly, this deck won a regional. I did not. So I'm assuming this deck is very good, and that's why I'm saying I'm gonna practice it, and I need to test it and see how good it is. And that's part of my future plan. So my future plan is to test Jackson Ford's list, test my list, see which one I like better in the meta, um, and roll with that. I don't think there's any reason not to play Charizard for Vegas. Seems like it's gonna be still a strong deck. Um, and I'll hopefully I'll probably post this list in my Metafy and update it as I go along. But yeah, that is pretty much the short little video I want to make. And if you guys have any questions about Charizard, or if you have any questions about how to test, or if you have any questions about Pokemon in general, you always send me a message. Uh, but until next time, thanks for watching.